Greetings, friends, and thank you all for joining us this morning for our Equinox group sharing. We're going to keep our cameras off today and enter full presence with the material that comes up between us as we share. Of course, the equinox is a time of great potency, and no more now than during this time of enormous conflict. Seek the harmony and to create the harmony. So it's a time of closing and of opening, and there's a sense of turning and also of pause. So we'll take a moment just to light our candles. And for those who don't have candles, those who do will be lighting for you too. And for all our brothers and sisters around the globe. It's still dark here in New Zealand where I'm speaking from, and the moon is just to the right of my shoulder. And in other parts of the world where you are meeting from, the sun will have been up many hours or perhaps just rising. So wherever we are, we visualize bringing light into the dark places of the world. Sharon will read for us the affirmation of the will.
The affirmation of the will. In the center of the will of God, I stand. Naught shall deflect my will from his. I implement that will by love. I turn towards the field of service. I, the triangle divine, work out that will within the square and serve my fellow men.
Alexander.
This day of Equinox Equilibrium, we gather in our sacred garden, the etheric agora, to be together, standing in the center of the will of God. We start our gathering today with silence and meditation.
We'll first listen to this beautiful piece of music, the Kyrie, for a few minutes before moving into 10 minutes or so of silent meditation.
Kyrie
Where two or more are gathered together in my name, there am I among you.
Happy Equinox. So with the March equinox, we start the new cycle, continuing the movement from Aries through all 12 signs till Pisces, year after year. This is the 10th year of the 2025 initiative. Every year, except the first year in 2012, we've been coming together at the Equinox Day to inaugurate the new year and be together in a circle, looking forward, planning, setting our plans for the year. Today, we will share with you impressions from the 6-month retreat that our group, coordination group of the 2025 initiative, been since Libra. It's been intense time for humanity, with many things changing and plan progressively unfolding. So today I will be the voice for our group, but we'll be making pauses that members of our group, at the moment of the meeting, there are 5 of us, would step in and add anything that resonates for them through what we together as a group perceived and will be sharing today. This time that we live in a way, are very similar to the times when 100 years ago, 70 years ago, Tibetan Master Jewel Ku was given instructions to his disciples. At this time, we don't have the luxury of direct transmission, direct instructions, but we have all the instruments that have been given to us, so-called future disciples. And we have responsibility to unfold those instructions into practice. As humanity going through the current crisis, we see the unfoldment of the principle of love as the spontaneous response to the pain that we collectively witnessing, pain of the war. And as humanity makes this leap forward, advancing the plan of love and light, we, disciples, trained as esotericists, are expected to make our own leap forward. For many years, we've been trained individually, trained as groups, working in group formation, forming our own groups, meditating and perceiving the vision distributing the light for humanity. The sense of our group that this time, it's time when many different groups, as part of the World Service Group, are called to take its place similar to space fleet, when each starship, each group are called to take its place in the etheric orbit of the planet, forming the functional etheric grid of light. This is our collective star fleet. This is our order of the star. This is the time when we come to realize our capacity. And it's time when we come to learn how to work in this star formation, in this formation of this space fleet. That's the image our group perceived at the very beginning of our retreat back in Libra, under the Libra energy. And now, by the time of Pisces, there is a sense that we are called to be in our full capacity. Together we can and we're expected to open our collective antenna, perceiving the vision of the plan. And expressing it forward for humanity. The year topic for the 2025 initiative in this annual cycle will be the call to all groups and all individuals enter into the group vision quest. Meditating, interpreting, and expressing our vision of what is true now and what is the next right thing. Together, we can meditate the vision into existence. We know that the year 2025 is the year of the Centennial Conclave, when the hierarchy will meet together to evaluate the readiness of humanity for the reappearance of the Christ and externalization of the hierarchy. in a way, we are part of this great experiment. Each of our groups works as a focal point through its focused group mind, through its focused group heart, in a place for the ashrams to be projected and expressed. This year, we will continue experimenting with the format of our work. And most likely it will be adjusted as needed as we go. We will be calling the community to come together twice a month. In the rhythm of breath. With every waxing moon, we will be meditating on the vision, what is true now. Coming together in the full moon, inviting guests to share and meditate together on the topics of importance at any particular moon cycle. And every waning moon, we will reflect on bringing the vision into existence, reflecting on what is the next right thing, how we can bring the vision into manifestation. We will look to bring the focus to qualities of each sign each month, inviting us to find the quality that resonates for us, for each of us personally, and through meditation to establish, maintain, and practice that quality. And that would be our way of anchoring that quality into the physical plane in our own lives, becoming radiant point of that quality, and radiant point of the vision that we perceive. As we will gather every month in our group Agara, in our etheric space of our group garden, sacred garden, we will gather around the group hearth, invoking the vision. And by listening together to silence, by invoking the vision, we will ask for the guidance from the hierarchy. And as we share our perceived impressions, we will start collecting the pieces, the puzzle pieces, the bits of the bigger vision. We will seek through our group vision quest, we will seek to bring this synergy that appears allowing us to access the higher vision and articulate ideas that we didn't have before. That's our experiment. And we know that through experiment, we learn all together. Through experiment, we decipher the instructions that our master gave us. We know that initiate knows because he works. And so we will learn by doing. We will continue the programs that's been unfolding throughout these 10 years. Each of those programs was a response to recognized need. And we invite you and your groups to bring your own ideas and forward, suggesting your initiatives to start your own programs. We will be happy to assist sharing the platform. So, you know, at the moment, there are several main programs that 2025 Initiative runs. Is the daily vigil that invokes the soul consciousness and humanity. There is a meditation for the common good that follows the 4-beat cycle. There's a creative lab, the souls of our nations. And there is a cooperation project with the Hikal group, Jerusalem Meditation. We will continue these programs, listening for the further unfoldment. Our group, the 2025 Initiative Coordination Group, been working with the star format, working as a star. For the last 3 years, we've been using this method when each of our group members focuses one of the rave vertices, and thus creating this functional space where we can work as a group, where each member has own function. This method was This method originated from the community of living ethics in Italy, and it's used by many groups around the world. We invite your group to explore the possibility of this method, of this format of the group work. We are ready to share more about that if you're interested. And if you don't have a group, we encourage you to start your own group. Either your local group in your locale or an international group. As the communication technologies prove itself very effective, helping us in creating group spaces. Many years ago, I've been very inspired by sharing by Martin Buick, when he said that the hierarchy, it's not the hierarchy of our authorities, but hierarchy of responsibilities. So it's up to us to take responsibility, making the externalization of the hierarchy reality. Each one of us, each of our groups. And when each of our groups come into its functional capacity, we really can become functional space fleet, etheric fleet of our planet. Now, the symbol that our group perceived through our retreat, through our meditation, was that when we look in the sky, night sky, we see first we see different stars. But after a while, we start recognizing constellations. And those constellations formed not by the stars per se, but by the space between the stars. And that's how that star formation fleet is working. That space between our groups is that space of magnetic magic, that space of etheric web that can perceive and distribute the energy. So we invite all of us to find own place in this fleet, in our own constellations, to do the work that we were born for. There is in a way, very technical part of information that's Tibetan master gave us in Book of Esoteric Psychology, Volume 2, page 241, 242. I put it in there. chat now. This few paragraphs related to the significance of the 9-year cycles, significance and opportunities of 9-year cycles. As often he says that this information is highly unuseful for many of you and of no use, but it's for future disciples that will come in the future. When you read it, you will get your own sense of the meaning of that information. But in essence, it's that every 9 years, hierarchy meets for conclaves, 9-year conclaves, to meditate on the plan. And disciples of lower ranks have possibility to meditate together with the hierarchy each 9 years, perceiving the plan and submitting their plans, their ideas to the hierarchy, and thus advancing the plan, manifestation of the plan. Next year, 2023, is the year of when the 9-year cycle begins. And that's the year of opportunity for our Starfleet to meditate in synchronicity on the divine plan, unfoldment of the divine plan, in preparation for the year 2025. So in a way, this year before 2023, it's a year for experiment and practice for each of our group and for our entire fleet of groups to become able to be capable to align our group's meditations with the meditation of the hierarchy, and submitting our perceived ideas of how we can assist in advancement of the plan to the hierarchical chalice, to the hierarchical space. So let us use this year to learn through practice, learning to work together as a Starfleet, when each of our groups has own function, own role, and own responsibility. I think we can pause here. So maybe we can have music now, Claire, before we have a period of open space. From the very beginning, the 2025 initiative was perceived as a platform, not as a group. It's a space. It's a space for different groups and different individuals to come together, to share to learn from each other and go back to own service. And so it's a space. Our coordination group, we are holding the space for community. Our role is a convener. The role of your group is different. You know it, and you sound it. That's how we work. So we open the space and we appreciate any sharing of your part of the vision, as we perceive only a small part of the collective vision. The fuller vision can come only from our joint shared work. So we will enable now the microphones unmuting, so please step in when you feel.
I'd like to share something. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Kim.
Hi, Kim here, New Zealand. I could really feel today the interconnectedness of the group, or at least I could say I could feel my connection with everyone in the group, and this, how Master DK and maybe other masters continually say that it's the group work that is important. It's not the individual, and that they will take notice when people come together as a group. And I felt it so much easier today to when for example the music was on and we were meditating silently, I just felt it's so much easier to connect in, being mindful of being connected with everybody in the group, and not just this group, but the whole group of the new group of world servers, and the connection up to the hierarchy. It was very tangible. Just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Kim.
Hello, dear friends. Community of heart. Perhaps just a theme, I will try and look for it from Cosmic Fire. There is one sentence in the middle of a paragraph that notes that it is, he uses the word aggregate. The aggregate of groups together go towards the forming of a petal within a center of the planetary logos. Which somehow caught my imagination powerfully since 2012, which I believe did inaugurate an awareness, not just of group identity, which we still may aspire to grow into, the realm of the soul on its own plane, but also at that time, it was the groups of groups that really started to relate and interweave powerfully and increasingly with the festival of the new group of world servers. I believe triggered much in that direction. There was a Capricorn full moon at the time, too, of the festival. And this is the fruition, a beautiful fruition of that. I'm here in Tucson, Arizona, Sonora Desert with a little outpost of a group that has met since the 90s. And, oh, I have to say, this last year's the pandemic really affected the group, and a group member just died this last month, shortly after Michael's passing. And we were meditating when we were aware of Michael's passage because we were having our full moon meditation at that exact time, a few hours after the full moon. And it was like felt his touch in passing. And I would just acknowledge that. But the group here, then, even though we've met since the 90s, it's been at least 15 years that our focus, we have met weekly, one way or another, on the dissipation of world glamour, using that exact meditation as given, being a good little fundamentalist, a blue book fundamentalist. Powerfully. So when you were asking what quality might each group contribute as such, I would have to say that would be the work that has proceeded. And it's incredible to observe because as a group of working in that way, I think I'm not going to remember now. My mind sometimes goes a second or third group of workers of world glamour, one of those 10 seed groups, although I think there's also a participation in the 10th group, which is this group. Anyway, I could go in 1,000 directions, but just back to the glamour work. To see there's group glamours as well, you see. And very much have been sensing that in some ways, can, tune into that, which can also take you for a twirl, because when you work in this way, you make yourself more susceptible to glamour than not. And so we are called to stand, we are called to rest, and we are called to observe. Those are the foundations on which the work is built. And observing today the whirlings of contributing to the astral fretfulness of group. The Tibetan mentions that might be one of the first considerations is the astral, and I'm not saying that is true here. Although, of course, we're all in a sea of glamour. We're all in a sea of Pisces for the last 2,000, 25,000 years. All these thoughts were evoked. And so I would just, put our group on the table in the garden. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria Cristina.
Yeah, this is Katya Kaufman speaking from New York. The group silence and the group field is strong. And within that silence, what came was that the lords, the great lords, great beings at work now with humanity, challenging, destroying, creating, seeding, planting those seeds that will grow in a different way, clearing the field for acquiring age. So this work is ahead of us. It will be greatly adjusted. Our vision will be expanded and straightened. This is humanity as a disciple in Scorpio, those glamours. Will be either recognized by us or we will be really cleansed of them in a way that is brought about by our karmic equation. But even with the most tragic and daring events on the globe the last several years, there is still light of hierarchy, and the energy of Shambhala holding humanity, working through the new group. So it seems like we'll talk less and serve and radiate more. And sense the group love, which is the tool for that will to be implemented. Because the lack of that love creates events that we call wars. Deafness, so as a group, just can't remember the words of the master. Work, my brothers, and so we shall. Thank you.
Thank you, Katya. I just want to return to the image of the rainbow, because the question that came while you were speaking, Katya, to me was, what am I deaf to? And I will take that question away and ponder that deeply. During our coordination group retreat, as Sasha said, one of the thoughts, the seed thoughts that came through was that as humanity matures, that so must our discipleship groups grow too, and that as we step into our different individual and group responsibilities, we recognize that hierarchy is not based so much on the principle of external authority, but more on the principle of internal authority and of expanding responsibilities. And that we really are being invited to listen increasingly deeply to the magic of the unfolding plan. So it's just reflecting on this image of this rainbow, because I'd been working in a very interior project, interiorly, literally in the house. And a friend rang and said, let's go for a picnic. And I was initially a little reluctant to let go of what I was busy with, but it was a beautiful day. So, and off we went with just a few things that we had at hand, and drove up into the hills, and we were deeply involved in conversation, and at one point stopped the car and got out to have a cup of tea on the edge of the hill. And there was this double rainbow. I think what struck both of us in that moment of intense magic and beauty was that these phenomena are going on all the time. And very often I'm, busy working away inside and I don't notice them. So I'm speaking of this metaphorically, really. What am I blind to? What am I deaf to? And how can I more fully turn up for the magic that wants to come through and is happening everywhere, even when we're not noticing it? And something too about needing to show up and be present in order to both witness and participate in the manifestation of this unfolding plan. This is Claire speaking from New Zealand. Thank you.
Hello, this is Reiko from Japan, Tokyo, and right now it's 4 o'clock in the morning in Tokyo, and I haven't come this place for a long time because yes, this is because of the time difference, but I know that today is a special day. And special day for humanity and also for the planet Earth. And also I feel very sympathy for the what is going on in the current situation in the world. Then I decided to wake up early, and I'm here now. And I want to convey my energy from Tokyo, means presence from the Asia into the world disciples. So I'm here and I'm speaking to you. And today I'm so glad to feel your energy and connect to your will. And I felt a lot of wills here to make this world better and descend the light from hierarchy. And maybe Alexander said the word platform. And I love this word platform, because I feel like, you know, there's no top and bottom, and we are all together and feel the connection to the world. And there's only one will there. So I'm so glad to be here and spend the times with you today. And now it's almost in Japan is the sun rising for the spring equinox. So I hope you enjoyed today, the beginning of spring. Thank you and arigato.
ありがとう。
Natalie from New Zealand. That was lovely, Ariato from Japan. Thank you for waking up at 4 a.m. I realize that I need to move to all-day meditation. I tend to forget during the day who I am. And that is my intent. I'll have to ponder on how to do it. That is the intent that came to me today. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Natalie.
Hi, Jill, UK. I think it's important for smaller groups to meet like this into one group, as we are doing. It is a step towards synthesis, and the idea of a space being a spaceship appeals, because ultimately, I suppose we are launching into space with our meditations, and eventually this is what will happen. We will actually go to other planets, I believe. So thank you for the thoughts.
Hello, greetings, everyone. This is Rose. So lovely to hear everyone. I would just like to add into the field the point of tension and polarization of steadiness, keen observation, and love. That we see things from a wide world perspective and from the level of the soul. In that way, we can remain centered in that soul light and not be so pulled in different directions from the myriad of forces that we encounter in our daily lives, mentally and emotionally, to always preserve that space of centeredness, of soul centeredness, and hold it throughout the day. And it's from that point that we observe the world, we observe our life, and we do our daily activities, and our thoughts and our emotions are from that space. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Rose, and thank you, Jill.
Hello, this is Rosita from Britain. I would like to bring into the group field something about other groups that are not exposed to the Bailey teachings, but are dedicated to the common good and creative and doing very good work. And I'd like to mention one that I'm involved in, which is a conscious aging group. This group, we are looking at the future, how to create a model or approach to the aging process. We're all in our 70s and 80s for the future because of the dysfunctionality of the present models. And this is important to me personally, that we, in our meditations, we create the thought forms and the concepts which will go forward into the future to create a better world in a practical and down-to-earth way. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosita. If there's a link you'd like to share in the chat, would be most welcome to your group work. Thank you.
This is Barbara talking from Berlin in Germany. I would like to introduce to the group consciousness the importance of group in presence and not only in virtual or in meditation. I think it is very, very important that we are together with other people, just in a physical, emotional, and mental and spiritual way. And if we are talking here in this group always about groups, I think we should distinguish and we should face the importance of being in presence together, because we need to feel each other and we need to inspire each other in presence. And this is something which in our meditated, meditated society is very difficult to achieve. So I would like to encourage everybody to meet in presence.
Thank you, Barbara.
Hello, this is Tracy Arbor from United States, and what a beautiful group we have, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. I just wanted to share a couple of aha moments and impressions that I received during this gathering today. And one was when we were all gathered together in the garden at the beginning. And as the music was playing and we went into meditation, I had the vision of all of us in this large circular garden being watered by the hierarchy. You know, like we were little shoots and buds and plants that they planted in this garden. And something that Alexander said while he was talking to us today, I had this little aha moment, which I'm kind of newer to the group. I've been around for a long time, but not as involved as I am now. And so it's something you probably all already have known or have felt. But I received that the externalization of the hierarchy isn't coming the way that I thought it was going to come, you know, as in these beings appearing all over the planet, which they will be also, but that it's coming through us. We are the externalization of the hierarchy, our groups, these new group of world servers and all these groups of men and women of goodwill everywhere. This is the externalization of the hierarchy. We're it. And that was a pretty profound aha moment for me. So couldn't have had that moment without all of you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Tracy.
I would like to share a quote that was posted today or yesterday evening, maybe, on this website, Esoteric Advent. It's a quote from Hierarchy 1931. At present, when the planet is completing its karma, certainly the retribution for engenderments is greatly reflected upon humanity. Yet, that which is engendered by human spiritual striving enwraps the planet. Hence, each right tension and striving will give to the planet the affirmation of the new world.
Hello?
Therefore, the lofty banner
May I
of
speak?
peace carries its projectiles of light and firely imbues the currents around Earth as a panacea against evil. The consciousness landed for millennia create Thus, light conquers darkness. Thus, a wondrous step is being fulfilled. Thus, the preordained approaches. I will post the text in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniela.
Daniela in Brussels.
Yes, I'm in Brussels. And happy to meet all of you.
Someone wanted to speak as well.
I think it was Anne. Probably with some problems with sound, so there were interference. Thank you, dear friends, for adding your vision, your segment of the vision. And so we continue our work. The journey continues. Time is very unlinear when we get together in a circle, but I think we are almost...
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, and we can hear you now. And we can hear you. Definitely problems with sound. And
I see Darcy has raised her hand. Darcy, are you there?
I would like to leave this thought from Om 143. The benevolent thinker is surrounded by a rainbow, and through his or her light brings healing.
Deep out breath. Thank you, Darcy. There are two more raised hands. I'm not able to see whose they are from where I am, but perhaps Alexander or Daniela or Katja, you can see.
Yes, it's Ira, maybe. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name.
So this is Ira from Germany speaking. If I would be to address my brothers, my incarnate brothers and sisters, what appears important to me for this year in the outlook, especially regarding the actual happenings on the world stage, is that my focus, my personal focus, very much goes on embodiment. We had that thought earlier that the world outside is a reflection of the world inside, that world that we create, the world of our thoughts, of our emotions, which we have a certain power over. And more so, the more we employ the methods and techniques that we are taught as disciples of the wisdom. I truly believe that, or I get to the insight, and it's, I have to admit, it's a faint notion somewhere at the edge of my consciousness, but I get the notion that the conflict that lives in me, the conflict that I have with myself, with my surrounding, with whatsoever, friends and foes, people I know, that create reactions within me. I believe that this is but a reflection of the outer world, or that the outer world is but a reflection of the inner world that I am living in. Like, it's not those people that create the problem. It's me that has the problem with what they're doing. And I believe that was a question earlier of somebody probably asking what creates conflict, what creates war. It starts within us. And it's, you know, if I may just elaborate on that quickly, as someone incarnating on the line of the warrior, being some kind of, you know, feeling some kind of, how do you say, responsibility for upholding the divine law. I can really relate to everybody who runs to conclusions and judgments about somebody else. But I believe that this, in the end, is the conflict that we carry within ourselves. And the only way to find peace, or to bring this world to peace, is to find that peace within ourselves, which is not a matter of finding. That's what I said. I lay my emphasis for this year on embodiment. It's not a matter of finding peace. I believe we can actively work towards that by employing, as I said, by employing the methods and techniques that are given. Yeah, so we all share our part, and we all take our part of the responsibility of what as well is happening and outpicturing on the world stage. That was the concept that I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Ira. So the ending of the mantra that keeps constantly in my mind, may there be peace, and let there be peace, and may it begin with us. So the pondering of, I think, this year, truly, what is it, peace within us, beginning within us. Thank you.
I would like to speak, but I don't know how to raise my hand. Mariana.
Just speak, please.
Okay, I believe I would like to answer this very deep question about conflicts. I speak from Canada, but I was born in Brazil and raised in France. So I speak many languages and crossed many cultures. And in my life, I learned that we will always have conflicts. And because it is through conflicts that we grow and learn different things, different point of views, to deal with different, to cross from our personality to our soul. So we can't avoid conflicts in our lives, but maybe we can learn to look at them as growing opportunities and cross them peacefully together. I used to say, well, there is no problem if we have problems. There is no conflicts if we have conflicts. It's part of life. But we must try to see what are we learning there, and how can we cross them peacefully together through dialogue and open heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariana.
Welcome.
I'm conscious about the time run, and so I have to take my Saturn cat now, and just to invite us continue holding our group space and continue our sharings and learning from each other through various programs that our group holds and other groups hold, working together.
Just before we finalize, there's a chat message from Anne, I believe.
Do you want to read it, or do you want me to read it?
I can read it. Yes, sure. Anne. Because Anne works with a culture of peace, and so she's saying, peace departments, ministries, etc. would provide the missing architecture to encourage non-violent solutions at all levels of existence. As has been said, war is a sign of the failure of our current institutions. And then Darcy. Thought is a spatial entity. The consequence of thought strike the surroundings with their effect. Hierarchy, 215. And Michael Stacy. It is said that the law of nature, called the law of harmony, is an expression of the principle of conflict. Is one expression of the principle of conflict. So it seems that the solution lies to shift from this realization only on a physical level when things fall apart and there is war, to the sensitivity of a different kind, that things don't work out well, and finding solution at an earlier moments in time. That was my comment. Thank you all very much. Sasha, over to you.
Thank you. One last point that I want to share is that we invite your assistance in to help us advance this work. There are many ideas that our group received on how we could enhance this work. So we would appreciate if you have time that you would like to contribute, helping in various tasks. And also, if you're willing to share the golden substance of money, energy, please contact us and we will share about what possible ways to contribute to this work. Much, much, much love to all of us. Over to you, Claire.
Thank you to all present for very rich contributions today. We are going to close our gathering with this poem by Wendell Berry. And I won't say too much about it, just read it. And we'll then play a piece of music as you leave the room and go back into your days and evenings with much gratitude. 1. Make a place to sit down. Sit down. Be quiet. You must depend upon affection, reading, knowledge, skill, more of each than you have, inspiration, work, growing older, patience, for patience joins time to eternity. 2. Breathe with unconditional breath, the unconditioned air. Shun electric wire. Communicate slowly. Live a 3-dimensioned life. Stay away from screens. Stay away from anything that obscures the place it is in. There are no unsacred places. There are only sacred places and desecrated places. 3. Accept what comes from silence. Make the best you can of it. Of the little words that come out of the silence, like prayers prayed back to the one who prays, make a poem that does not disturb the silence from which it came. Blessings on you all, and thank you.
Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Love upon love upon love, all hearts are beating as one. Light upon light upon light, shining as bright as the sun. So let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Love upon love upon love, all hearts are beating as one. Light upon light upon light, shining as bright as the sun. Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Love upon love upon love, all hearts are beating as one. Light upon light upon light, shine.